Hi guys, I'm Davina from Angelica Yarns, and in this video I'm going to share some weird but helpful tips that I think every crocheter should know. The first tip I want to share with you guys is actually one that I just learned. Normally, I pull my yarn from the side of the skein. Whenever I try to pull from the middle, a large tangled mess comes out. If you want to pull your yarn from the middle, and a large tangled mess of yarn starts to come out, stuff it back in and try the other side. I just tried this for the first time and I was amazed how smoothly the yarn came out. So sometimes when I'm crocheting, my yarn will stick to my hook. When this happens, I run my hook through my hair a few times to make it glide smoother. I know this sounds really weird, but it works well, and a lot of crocheters actually use this tip. The natural oils in your hair grease up the hook to help the yarn move smoothly. Another thing I deal with when I'm crocheting is sweaty hands. When your hands start to get sweaty or damp, your tension becomes really tight, and the yarn will stick to your hands instead of smoothly being fed to your hook. To fix this, I wash my hands with cold water and soap, or I apply hand sanitizer. Doing this dries out my hands enough where the yarn will flow the way that it should. I wish I knew about stitch markers when I first started crocheting. I have multiple uses for my stitch markers. Sometimes I use them to pin different pieces of work in place. Sometimes I use stitch markers to keep track of my rows in the round. So, when I begin a row, I place a stitch marker in the first stitch and crochet all the way around. When I hit the stitch marker again, I know that the row is finished. My favorite thing to use a stitch marker for is to hold my place. So when you need to put down a project for a few hours, or a day, or whatever, you can attach a stitch marker on your loop. This way, when pulling out the project later, you won't rip out your stitches. To substitute a stitch marker, you can use a paper clip or a safety pin. One thing I learned is that if you are able to, you should crochet over your ends. This will not work all the time, but when you are able to, it gives you a lot less to sew in later. If you are trying to estimate how much yarn you need to buy, I suggest always buying more than buying less. I say this because if you are crocheting a project and you're in the zone, and suddenly you run out of yarn, you need to stop crocheting, go back to the store, and pick up more yarn. Usually this throws off your crojo. If you buy too much, you can always return it. Be sure to look for coupons when shopping for yarn. Most stores offer great coupons on their websites that you can pull up on your phone when checking out. Also, a lot of people don't know this, but most craft stores accept competitors' coupons. So if I go into Michael's and the best coupon they are offering for that day is 15% off on one item, I could use my Joann's coupon for 20% off my total purchase and save a lot of money. Check out all of the coupons available before spending your money. Medicine bottles work well for storage. I use medicine bottles to store my needles and thread, and also to store my safety eyes for stuffed animals. Always crochet in both loops unless the pattern says otherwise. I used to only crochet in the front loop, making all of my projects flimsier than they should have been. Make sure you crochet through both the front and back loops. Oddly enough, crochet slang is a thing. If you are at the very end of your project and will not have enough yarn to finish the row, try undoing a few of your stitches and crocheting a little tighter to stretch your yarn further. You can also try to use a smaller hook to get the most out of this yarn. Keep a crochet kit ready for on-the-go projects. I usually use a small pencil bag. I fill up the bag with 1 or 2 crochet hooks, a pen, a small notebook, some sewing needles, either clippers or tiny scissors, and some stitch markers. This way, if I find myself waiting for an appointment or with too much time on my hands while away from home, I can whip up my supplies and get to crafting. I hope these tips help you as much as they helped me. Thank you for watching.